Did she give you the signal?
I got the signal
okay.
from the boss that day.
All right.
All right. Well, welcome everyone to the Lunch and Learn content creation. This is just going to be an open, lots of questions. Hopefully you guys ask us lots of questions on content creation. We've all been in the marketing field for a little while. So we'll introduce ourselves. There's a sheet that we'll refer back to in front of you. Feel free to look at. Yeah, that's all I have so far.
All right, cool. We're going to introduce ourselves. They volunteered me to go first, 2-1 vote. My name is Mike Farley. I'm the marketing director with United One Credit Union here in town and also in Sheboygan as well. And I just came to Wisconsin in November, so mid-November I became a Wisconsinite. And I do own a home in Sheboygan Falls, is where we found a house to live. So I do live down there, but I work up here every day that I can make it through the snow drifts. So I'm happy to be here. Hopefully you read my bio, that's why I'm on the panel. Hopefully that's good enough for you, and we'll get to explore some fun things today. And feel free to bring questions. We want this to be for you guys. So if you have questions, today is a great day to ask them, and we'll do our best to answer for you.
My name is Tyler Freitag. I'm the marketing coordinator for Shoreline Credit Union. I've been with Shoreline for about 2 years. A big part of my job is content creation, whether it's digital, print, or a lot of the fundraisers we do, the sponsorships. So that's why I'm on the panel, to be able to help you guys answer your questions about content.
Everyone, I'm Gabby Kappert from Engage Marketing Co. We are a marketing firm located in Sheboygan, but we service all areas of Wisconsin. I am the marketing coordinator with the company, so what my daily tasks look like, because no 2 days are ever the same in a marketing field, as many of you probably know. But some of the things I work on is content creation for clients, whether that's blog writing, working with video or photographers, developing campaigns, social media campaigns, anything that can kind of go in your marketing strategy, or even, what does your website look like and your content and your SEO for that as well. So yeah, I hope to have lots of questions asked so we can help you guys in your businesses or your roles as marketers as well. Yep. So first we're going to kind of talk about, just to open everything up, we're going to talk about a success that we've seen in the marketing field or in our positions. So when I was driving here from Sheboygan, and as the highway's closing, I'm like, I can think of a lot of things now because I might be late to this content creation panel, but luckily I'm not. So one of the successes I wanted to kind of talk about is a company we've been working with for the past 4 years. They're a manufacturer, and they B2B business, so business to business. So one of the content creation pieces that we've seen success with is blog writing. So a very consistent blog. So with the blog, we are very consistent in the sense that we release it every week, Thursday at 4 p.m. And their customers and their following know on Thursday at 4 p.m. we're releasing a blog for them. So once when we put that blog on their website, whatever kind of we're talking about that week, we usually put a keyword per week. So it's very structured in that way. But again, you have to stay relevant. But when we post that to their website, we post it to their social media outlets. We do e-blasts with this client as well. So it's going to their customers or that specific audience we need it to go. And with that, that's been a huge success for their company. We've been doing that for four whole years of this blog writing, and they get tons of comments and great feedback from their customers, from their audience. And people, if we're a little bit late, 4:05, 4:10, we can count on a call saying that, where's the blog at? So just my kind of moral of that is consistency is huge. If you want to see success in something, consistency is going to be your, main point.
You can go there.
All So when I started at Shoreline, one of my tasks was simplifying and solidifying our brand, and that's the hometown brand. So when I first started, when I was throwing things on Facebook and throwing posts up, it was very wordy. It was a lot of words on top of graphics. So at the end of 2018 and 2019, I really started to focus on creating simple, engaging posts and really looking at other creative ads and figuring out how can I put Shoreline out there and get people to interact. So as we're doing events and sponsoring events, we get to create these ads for them and really promote the community and promote the hometown brand. So I guess what I'm trying to get across is simple can be better. It's important to create engaging content we all know Facebook is very flooded with a lot of different things, so making yourself stand out is important.
Both good things. Just something I wanted to bring up is, does anyone in this room feel like they can't do social media for any reason? That's reserved for bigger companies or companies that have the resources to do that? Because we just want to let you guys know that social media is a tool that, because of its free cost pretty much, that everyone should be utilizing it as a tool to reach out. So one of the samples that I have is taking a small business way back in the day when I worked at a radio station, and it was when a lot of the social media was a lot younger then too, a little more Wild West, and taking that brand and allowing it to compete with a regional business that had come to town. She ran a flower shop, and we created basically a campaign that was Compare Your Flowers. Her shop was called Candy's Flowers, and she would compare her flowers to what a local grocery chain was doing in their flower shops. And basically attacking the idea that us guys can sometimes be, shall we say, efficient with how we shop for flowers, so we can also get flowers at the same time we're picking up a 6-pack or grabbing a gallon of milk, and going after the idea that may be convenient for you, but if the flowers are for her, take the time to do that and get the quality flowers. So we put together a campaign that cooperated with the radio, of course, because that's what I was doing at the time, but also using the social media to create, I guess I wouldn't use the word viral, but within the community, that feeling that if you got good quality flowers, the ladies would look to see, did it have Candy's tag on it? And if it didn't, then maybe he didn't take the time to think about you as much as you thought he did. And so it's just attacking that whole idea. And today, Candy's Flowers in Knoxville, Iowa is the only flower shop. The grocery store does not offer it anymore, and there's no other competitors. It's a town of about 7,000 people. But just going right away, as soon as this grocery store started offering that, and coming right out and saying, well, that's fine, but here's our quality versus theirs. So we had side-by-side images of her flowers after X many days, and their flowers after X many days side by side. And you could really tell the difference. So it was worth an extra $4 or $5 for that bouquet when it all came down to it, or extra $7 or $8. So that's the example I wanted to bring, is just to let you guys know that whether you're a small business, medium-sized business, you can use social media to success. And as long as you have a plan and you're ready to deliver that plan and stick to it. So, yep.
And you bring up a good point too, that you can try new campaigns, you can try creative things, and if it doesn't work, think of a new one. For example, that one worked, so you guys stuck with it,
Yeah.
which is good. So, but if it doesn't, with social media, it's really cool. You can try different things, and it can be authentic. I use the word authentic a lot. It doesn't have to be extremely perfect, unless if you have very strict kind of branding guidelines in your company or whatnot. So.
Sometimes amateur works better.
Yeah.
It's not quite as polished, so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. So
Actually,
Charmaine.
do you have a question already?
Yeah.
One of the things with, so I'm with Sharon S. Richardson Community Hospice in Sheboygan Falls, and one of the challenges that I think we see is who should be your voice, and kind of, when you're posting and you're putting things out, I may not always be the one that's doing it, and I work with someone that we've kind of created that, but if someone else in our organization was to step in, what do you think about having, how do you guys address that with, making sure that the organization has that one voice so that everything, again, stays consistent?
Good. Okay, at least how we handle it, and where I've handled it in the past, is you designate, like you guys have done, a handful of people or a choice few people that have access to that, so that you have that consistent voice and they understand the brand and the representation that you're trying to make in a social media space. And it also makes it easier so that you don't know, or you know who's gonna be responding. Because I've been involved before where there's too many cooks in the kitchen, and you're in the middle of responding to the post, and then somebody else has responded, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I would have answered it maybe slightly different. So this way, I would say you'd have your 3 or 4 champions, or depending on your staff size, that those are your people that coordinate, hey, this weekend I'll be keeping my eye on the social media scene, or hey, we're gonna have an important post, so let's all be hands on deck in case somebody has a comment and that kind of thing, so that your voice, if you will, is consistent. That'd be my suggestion. So.
And one of the ideas what we use in our company and with clients is we have a working content calendar. So our client can see that if I'm working on a project with my coworker, we all have access to that, and we try to work at least weeks or months in ahead if we can, or just have important dates on it so we know when or what needs to go out. Also to have available, if you can, a branding guide. So maybe kind of a consistent, these are the messaging about hospice care or whatever, you know, this is kind of our message or our tone we want to send on social media. And then maybe if you have some templates created, you can have those where they can be working on InDesign, or there's some other design tools I'm going to talk about like Canva. And again, it's a working, so you'll have those consistent templates. That way it's easy for, you know, 2 or 3 people to be working on it. And then you understand and you know, this is kind of the messaging towards this or whatnot, or the images.
And what works for us is we have 3 people, we have a weekly meeting, and we talk about what kind of things we want to post for that next week. And what's nice on Facebook is you can schedule it out for the whole month or different time periods. So that way we know we're on the same page with the main things we want to post. And if other things are thrown in there, there's only 3 of us that'll post, and we always really communicate with what things are posted. That way it's consistent. Consistency is the key, making sure it's all the same message.
Good question, thank you.
I have access to it.
Any other questions in the meantime?
Yeah.
Well, since we don't have a question right now, maybe this one can. So content tip number 1 on here. We met before and we were like, what do people want to know? And what kind of questions do we get within our company or clients, whatever the situation may be. One of the things I see on social media is blurry, not pretty, go back to authentic, but this isn't authentic. So I wanted to give you a list of sizes that I use kind of often. And if you Google sizes for social media, you will probably get 500 different sizes for each platform. There's so many different kind of variations, but I kind of put the main ones, and this is a really good resource. I can quickly kind of go over it. So Facebook, your cover photo is kind of general, it's the longer view. When you're designing for a cover photo, I like to think mobile first every time we design something. So if you think about it and you're on Facebook and you have the cover photo, and you go to your mobile phone and you have stuff kind of spread apart, you want it to be centered. So you want to be everything is centered because that's what people are going to see on their mobile phone, and I can guarantee you your followers are probably more apt on your, using their mobile phone to view your social media. Blog shares images, 1200 by 628 is pretty common. Also the image, and that's, taking content from your website, sharing the URL, that type of images. The 800 by 800, 600 by 600, it doesn't really matter there, but that's just good clarity. Instagram's a little bit bigger. I typically use down at the images 1080 by 1080 to 800 by 800. And then also now that Instagram stories are really popular for brands and companies, just making sure that fits and looks really nice, because you are showing this to your audience, you are showing this to a potential customer client. You want to make it look good so you can either sell something or something educational or informative, and it speaks to your brand. So, and then LinkedIn is pretty similar as well.
I got a question for the room. How many of you guys have been, shall we say, organizing an event or planning something either for your personal life or for business or whatever, and you're doing some research on a caterer, just to use as an example, just because I've been there, we're looking for a barbecue joint. And some of these smaller businesses may not have a website, but they have a social media preference or a presence. So I went there and looked at a couple different ones. And has anyone made their buying decision based on what a Facebook page looked like or how recent the activity had been? I mean, go ahead, don't be shy. We're all friends here. It's okay. I don't bite. I spit a little bit. Sorry, guys. But seriously, we had one barbecue guy that we were going to use for one of our annual meetings, and his picture was blurry. His information was outdated, and the last post was older than 6 months. So even just that fact, he was now out of the running. Now, he may have had awesome barbecue. It may have been phenomenal. We heard from, people that had his stuff before that it was really good, but he'd already been out of the running. So even just simply going on and occasionally updating what you're doing or updating what you've got going on, it doesn't have to be, as they say, rocket science or brain surgery that way. You can just have fun doing what you do. There's somebody else I've worked with before that was an electrician, and all he simply did is he did work for people's homes. He'd go in like a residential electrician. And so when he would get done working with somebody, he would just ask, can I take your picture really quick and share that I've helped you get whatever back up and running? And it was super simple. Snapped a quick, cheesy kind of pic. It was amateur looking. It was kind of a selfie, but it worked. And then he would post that up there and basically say, hey, I just helped Matilda, or I just helped Eugene get their power back on, or rehook up this or that. We can help you with those too. Just call me. So something super simple, super easy, that people love to see that they're on there. And you get a little bit of that viral aspect because you're using a local person that they're like, oh, I know her, or I know him. And so you kind of tie that together. And as a small business, I think there's some power in that. So does anyone have any examples of a time that you guys ran into something on Facebook and maybe it gave you a reason to do business with that entity, or maybe not, or anything? Anyone? Feel free to share. It's okay. No? Nobody has looked anything up on social media and made a business decision? Come on. Thank you. Please.
I've done it where I've received good service and I went on their page and posted. So it's that kind of the same thing where then maybe the next person would recommend it or put it on my own page, like had a great experience with so-and-so company, and then somehow it links to theirs, so.
Yeah, so you had a good experience. Excellent. Yeah.
Just to piggyback on that, that's, from my experience with social media, radio, television, because I worked in all three, usually you don't hear the good things. So if they're hearing any good at all, if they get 2 or 3 comments after having it out there for a month, I just talked to a client who said, I've only heard 2 or 3 people comment on this, and I go, yeah, that's good. Usually people don't trumpet the good news, they trumpet the bad news. So that's really good to hear, if a client or you in your own business hear that kind of feedback, that's a good thing. Same client I was just talking to, when I started working with these people, they were depending solely on their Facebook page. And when I went to do my initial fact find, I knew this. And I looked at their Facebook page and I noticed that it was May and it hadn't been updated since January. And I just, before I talked to the boss, I went and talked to a few other people in the building, and I said, how's business? How things been? Oh, terrible, this and that. I said, you getting a lot of response to Facebook? No. So I had this conversation, and I said, before we do anything, because if anybody doesn't know me, I'm Bill. I'm with C-Day for broadcasting, and we're known for radio, but we also do digital advertising, and we work with social media as well. But I said, before we talk about anything, I said, let's talk about your Facebook page, and you have an Instagram that's never been touched. I said, you guys need to update that stuff. I said, it doesn't make you look good to a customer if they go to check you out on your Facebook page and it hasn't been updated in 3 or 4 months. It makes you look, I hate to use the L word, lazy. It looks like you're not trying. They want people who put forth an effort in the service industry. So we did that. Within a week, the owner called me and said, you need to come back. We need to talk more. And I said, oh, okay. And any specific reason? Yeah, things have really picked up since we made that change. One change, just staying current on their Facebook page. That's all it took.
Yeah. And I bet you, to follow up on that, Bill, using the word lazy there, that they weren't lazy business or lazy
Oh, no.
people.
Oh, no.
Yeah, but that's the idea, is that with social media especially, like so many things, you get out of it what you put into it. So if you're willing to put in even just a little bit of effort or consistency, as we've mentioned, and you have a plan and idea for what you want that message to be, the sky's the limit on what can be achieved there. Yep. Any other questions? Yeah.
What's too much posting on Facebook?
Aha, there it is.
That's a good question.
Gabby, do you wanna handle that
Yeah,
one? or-
yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love that question. You never want to post too much that you're the annoying factor. But with today's Facebook, for example, we go back to, they changed their algorithm. So it's harder for companies to kind of stay in that newsfeed if you're not using targeted paid advertising. So a really neat feature that I always like to go back to, in your insights, if you're familiar with your Facebook insights, there's a little bar. I forgot what tab it's under, but when you go to it, it will kind of give you the ins and flows of when people are online. And then it'll be, I guarantee you, it'll probably be at 8 or 8 p.m. or noon time, because if you think about it, people are on their phones then. So if you can post there for organic reach, that will help you. But in the sense of posting too much, I would say a minimum post for Facebook, 2 posts a week. And then increase it from 4 to 5, probably is a good max. But again, it depends per brand too, and per platform. Instagram, you can post a lot, because that news feed is just, the algorithm is going through. So, Instagram, you can increase that to 4 to 5 times. Your stories, they go. People see that for 10 seconds, they look at it, they click through it, especially younger generation, Gen Z, millennials. That content's going in one ear, looking, and out the other. So, create that engaging content, you need to create more of it. Which is hard, because who has time to sit down and create all this content? So, yeah, that's a good kind of view.
One second. I think what works for us at Shoreline, we post a little bit more frequently, but we watch it. We see what kind of engagement we're getting. We do follow the insights, what times between that 6 and 8 p.m. or 7 or 8 in the morning. But if we're getting a lot of likes, if we're posting 3 times a day, but every post is getting 30, 40 likes, then we know we're okay there. Some days it might be 1 or 2 likes, then well, we're gonna stick away from that time, or maybe not post that piece of content as much. So it really depends, like she said, on your brand and what's working for you.
You want me?
Nah.
As far as like the posting 2 times a week, I'm assuming it would change if you have a campaign or something going on,
Yeah.
or on a fundraiser or something coming up.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, depending on the campaign or what all that goes into it, definitely.
We have a lot of events that go on in the summer, so then we're posting a lot
Yeah.
more in the summer than we are, other times.
Definitely. Yeah.
I have lots of questions.
That's good.
Oh, that's why we're here.
Do you prefer a post or a video post? So I don't know how to say it, like words
Yeah.
or a picture
Yeah.
or a video?
Well, with any post you create, I can guarantee you that if there's a video or an image, it will get higher reach. Just people are engaged. You gotta give people something to come back or look at it. So, video's still gonna be number 1. You'll see that in your insights probably. With pictures, again, I go back to that authentic kind of quality looking. What does that imagery really say? For example, on Facebook, if you do targeted ads, you may have experienced this. If you boost a post, and you get like a little orange box on top that says, hey, your post has too many words, it won't go as far as reach. That's always something to be concerned or look at, because Facebook pushes out posts that are very visual. Everyone wants kind of a visual kind of movement. But yeah, if there's some type of imagery with it or video, both are recommended. I think it depends too for what it would be. Yep.
Going back to the videos, so is there any type of recommendation that you would have when it comes to kind of I don't wanna say the settings, I don't know what words I'm really looking for, like, some of them look very professional, and some of them you can tell we're like, we had no idea what we were doing.
Yeah.
And we're kind of
I'll
that
take
in
the
reins.
between, like, at work by us, because it's like, no one wants to talk, no one wants to say anything,
Yeah.
and it's like, is the camera too close, and we don't even like to do live because it's like, we mess up what we said,
Yeah. It's
you know,
scary. It's scary to be in
yes.
front of that camera, right? For some people, no.
I think sometimes those videos work better, because it's not fake, right? Like, it's not produced. Like, we did one, we had an employee fun day, and we shared us playing laser tag. And I mean, it got 21 likes, it wasn't selling anything, it wasn't pushing anything, it was just having fun. But people enjoy that, I think.
Yeah.
People enjoy the personal aspect. So I guess it depends on what for.
Yeah, and there can be a mix. So you can have that fun, cool kind of, you know, mobile video, but then again for, you know, branding reasons, if it's kind of a specific, what's your goal with the video, having that more professional looking. So it can go both ways depending on the situation.
I think sometimes we think we're overthinking it, and it's like, just
Yeah.
do
For
it,
sure.
and then it's like, that sign was crooked, we gotta do this over now,
Yeah.
move that sign over there, and it's like, are people really looking at that? I don't know. You know, and that's kind of, like, we see some of the things that are published by the chamber, and the videos, like, I always look at those, and I'm like, that's really nice, or, you know, kind of how they have, like clips that come in, it's like,
Mhm.
that's not where we're at as a
Yeah.
company, you know, as much as we would love to have, like, that professional video kind of done.
Yeah.
I think too, you know, the spontaneous, just hit record and go,
Yeah.
is sometimes just as good,
Mhm.
but that happy medium in between it to
Yeah.
get yourself to where you feel comfortable with what you're doing.
Yeah.
And along those lines, you know, under your content tips, you've got, you know, PicMonkey and Canva, which are pretty much image, you know, tools. What do you recommend from a on-the-fly video editing
Yeah.
app? I know there's like Pick, Play, Post. There's
Yeah,
other
there's a few
things.
out there.
What would you consider the top?
Yeah, you know, I go back to iMovie a lot on my iPhone. It's just easier to use. You can edit right on there. You can shorten clips. Also, not on the fly, but I use Filmore, I think it's called. And I'm by no means video person. You know, we do authentic videos ourselves sometimes. But I use this, and it's really easy. It's like a step down from Adobe Suite, but I can figure it out. So if I can do that, you can do that as well. So there is a charge for that, but it's maybe $30 a year.
Is it on the device?
It's on laptop. I'm not sure if there could be an app, but I haven't looked at that yet.
I'm just asking my sister really quick. She does video for a company called Ruan Trucking out of Des Moines, and they do like drone videos and things.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna ask her what she
I was
uses.
just gonna say, you know, even taking some of those raw videos and putting a few words over it and
Mhm.
being able to cut can make a huge improvement.
I think, yeah.
And what do you recommend time-wise for the videos? Cause I feel like that's really evolved and
Mhm.
changed, and it just keeps getting shorter and shorter for the amount
Yeah.
of time, so what is it? What's the optimal, 30 to 60 seconds?
You want me to do it? Okay.
You can answer
I
that,
like
I'll
to
jump in.
stick, again, it's gonna depend what the content is, what's the purpose of the video, but I like to stick between that 15 seconds to ranging up to that minute. It really depends what we're trying to get across in that video, but if it's a, you know, live video is a good example. Sometimes they say live video will, you know, takes a little bit of time to get people on your live video, so, yeah.
And on that note, for video, Instagram has a lot of capabilities if you're looking to take just a 15 to a 60-second
Mhm.
video. There you can put, you know, filters over it, you can put text over it, you can do boomerang, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. So if you're just looking to do a short video, Instagram's a really good way to record a video too.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it on Facebook too, like a video as short as 6 seconds, like 6 to 8 seconds, but it's just to catch your eye. Like just that movement that's gonna make that video stand out from other things.
The question, maybe you know the answer to this. If you go live, do you get a notification, whatever page you're on? Because like every Sunday I get a Weston Spa for coming live from Lambeau Field notification. You click it, it brings you right to live video. But I don't know if, like when we went live, if that happened.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that automatic?
There's an option. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure there's an
Like a
option.
follow.
Yeah.
But I would also say on top of that, don't shy away from a longer video if the content is there. Like if you're doing a 2-minute video on how-to or a 5-minute how-to video, it all depends on the content that you have in it. So if you have 3 minutes of content and it's worthy content, do your 3-minute video. Don't try to cram it into 60 seconds. So it really depends on what all you're trying to tell with that video. I mean, short ones work well too, but I've seen people with success where they do like 2-minute how-tos and 4 or 5 minute videos as well. It just depends on, you know, kind of, I'm skipping ahead to the other content, but what your plan or strategy is for your social media. Why are the people coming to you? So if you're like an expert in the field, you know, and they're coming to you for that experience, like you're a plumber showing people how to replace a shower head, well, maybe you can't do that video in 60 seconds, but you could do one in 6 or 7 minutes. I've learned a lot just by pulling up those kind of videos on YouTube, be a DIYer, you know, and how to clean out a clog or how to fix a low flow shower head and things like that. So, and a lot of those are just small businesses that say, hey, I'm Hank with Hank's Hardware, and this is how you do this, you know. And don't forget, you can get the parts at Hank's Hardware, but hey, you don't have to. So those are some ideas too when it comes to video. Yeah.
What advice would you have for people who are limited in what they can do with their content? We work at a domestic violence shelter, so we can't show clients. We're very limited in what we actually can show. So, you know, one of my goals is to not be repetitive in showing the same thing over and over again. But again, when you're so limited in what you can do, just based on anonymity and legal reasons, what advice would you have for that? Or would you just kind of say, just make do with what you've got?
A suggestion I might have, and we've talked about this, is do you guys have like trade information as far as that goes, like any kind of publications for what you guys do that you could share information like that, either from the government or from the state or from other organizations?
There's always like information out there. The CDC provides information. There's national networks and things like that that put out statistics and articles and stuff like that. We do try to keep those featured fairly prominently on our social media.
Okay.
I always go back to Did You Know series. This kind of quick, you know, one-liner Did You Know series, and it's engaging. Not everyone might think that content, they want to read it, but some might find it very interesting, and it's educational too and informative.
Did you ever think about doing maybe testimonials that are anonymous, or stories about people that are anonymous?
So the thing about that is a good deal of our clients really just don't have any ambition to relive it. Be it a domestic violence or a sexual assault situation, we run across very few that are actually willing to go back there and relive that, talk about it. It's just very often they want to put it in their rearview mirror, and to go back and talk about it again, it's painful, it's difficult, it's just something they don't want to do. And we don't force that issue. We've got a couple of people that are a little more open about it, but it's still, you've got to be diplomatic, and if they say no, then it's no.
So
Yes.
we partner with a domestic violence facility in Sheboygan, and I know like we held, you know, I guess a fundraiser for them, and we share content, so they would post about us. So I mean, if there's people in the community that are donating or, you know, giving their time to your organization, you know, giving them credit.
Yeah, we try to do
Sometimes
that
big
too,
partnerships.
yeah. Yeah.
Have you guys done like a service spotlight where you pick like one service that you provide and then you can like talk to maybe staff members instead about that service? So then again, it's like a series that can come out.
Even with staff members, it's very difficult, because
There's only like 5 of us.
there's only 5.
Hey, that's fine.
We're a very small organization. When it comes to the people who work on the shelter side, anonymity is important for them as well.
Okay.
Because if you have an angry abuser who then recognizes one of our advocates or our providers or something like that, then that becomes an issue as well for their safety and their ability to go about their day-to-day lives. So we really have to walk a fine line, because we know that social media is vital to getting our message out. And in the last 8 months, I've been with the organization since last April, and I've made social media a focus, and our followers and page likes have gone up since then, but it's still a fine line in that striking that balance between being informative and providing, you know, information about what we do and events we've got coming up, and, you know, if you need our services, we're here, and donation requests and all that. It just, we're so limited in what we can say and do that it can be frustrating.
I think maybe if you leverage the, if you or someone you know, the someone you know part instead of the you, oftentimes the victim will not come forward or doesn't want to. And educating the someone you know in terms of signs of abuse, that maybe not interviewing them, but actually having because I know in many of those cases, because Crystal mentioned, like, those organizations, a lot of their staff members and counselors are typically former victims themselves. So if you can find those people to share their story, if they're, 3-5 years in the clear and they're comfortable with it now, they might be able to be that spokesperson for identifying, like, I know how you feel, these are the signs to look for, really encouraging the victim to come forward of, why it's okay, how to go about it, those kinds of things can help.
Or the process or something to be aware.
Right.
Awareness.
And one of the things I do, I watch our competitors, I watch big brands. What are they doing? How are they releasing information? How are they telling their story or their products or services? And you don't have to reinvent the wheel, you just make it your own. That's the thing. You just make your content your own. People have tons of good ideas and you can just kind of mimic it. So I always try to, how are music stars releasing their music? Kind of what's their promotion on these things? So that's something always to look at. Or, what are big credit unions or big banks doing? Or how are they telling their story? Or how are they telling, how they helped, a plumber start their business? Something like that. That's what I always go off of too. Just a quick tip.
One of your tips is to start a conversation. It seems like everyone has a cell phone nowadays, but they're scared to talk on it. Is there a platform or wording that you would use to either get them to call of action, whether it be texting, email, make that call? Is there any forms that you would recommend?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So I go back to this analogy all the time. Have you ever heard of the wheel analogy? No? Okay, that's okay. So the wheel analogy, so if you think about it, the middle of your wheel is your website. And your marketing spokes, your social media, your print, your radio, traditional billboards, where is it all driving back to? Probably your website, because that's where you want people to look at things, purchase things, find out information, fill out your contact us form, whatever that call to action may be. Simply in social media posts, you can have that call to action of saying, please view our blog by clicking here or clicking below, or comment on this post if you agree with this or if you're attending this event. So definitely when you add a call to action to these social media posts or whatever it may be, you'll probably see more engagement because people like to be told what to do. That's the thing. People need to be told what to do. So if you're adding that call to action of, hey, check out the cars for sale, Van Horn, or whatever it may be, more call to action, and when you tell people to do, they'll sometimes follow through with it.
Have you guys seen any success in like cooperative campaigns? Like for instance, for us, with the hometown program, it's not necessarily shop this specific place, but just shop local. Or in our industry, it shouldn't be credit unions versus credit unions. It should be credit unions versus payday lenders, or credit unions versus big banks. And just doing cooperatives across a couple different businesses within the same industry. Have you seen any sort of success doing those kinds of things?
Kind of partnership?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. One thing I like to go back onto is a campaign we're working on. someplacebetter.org in Sheboygan. We developed their new website and kind of handle their job fairs and whatnot. And that's a collaborative kind of partnership between the chambers, the economic development. Just the more partnerships you can, it's just how does that messaging look? What does that, you know, the end result look like? For example, your hometown brand, you're getting, which I see all your posts about, you know, this week, Engage Marketing Co. is now a hometown credit card thing, whatever it is, which is great because that's tons of it's technically partnerships in the community. But yeah, that can be a huge success in Home Run. It's just, what does that messaging look like? You know, that's a big strategy you have to put in place. So.
There's so many, obviously, Facebook, Instagram, all of the different social media things that you can be on. Is it necessary in order for a business to be successful? Do you have to be on everything, or should you be focused on a couple of things that you can do really well? Like hospice just seems like something I shouldn't be on Instagram or Twitter. You know, I think you can work it.
Hashtag.
There might be, yeah. You know, there's certain elements of, you know, ethical behavior and, you know, wanting to make sure that you're sensitive to what you want. And I just don't want to feel like I'm always missing out on something.
Well, just to answer that, I would say that if you can only be on one that you can devote your resources to, right now it's Facebook just because of the use. And obviously anything you can do with Google, whether it's Google Plus, claim your pages, get your stuff out there, that's a little more SEO and that kind of thing, but it's still social media that way. That would probably be the number one. And then personally, just from my point of view, LinkedIn would be another one just because that's one of those that you can set it up and it helps you build a network and professional business and entity that way, but it doesn't involve nearly as much of the every day or even every week updating. That'd at least be my suggestion. What would you guys say?
I would say Facebook as well for the most important. From a credit union standpoint, it's hard to post on Instagram as well. If we didn't have all of our events in summer and throughout the year, I think we would really struggle because, yeah, how do you put a savings account promotion on Instagram? Are people going to stop when they're looking at, you know, beaches in Florida or whatever? So I think, yeah, I would agree Facebook is probably the first one. And then if you can dedicate some resources to Instagram, then, yeah.
Yeah, Facebook will be number one for sure, and it will continue to be for a while. You know, we talk about Instagram. Facebook actually owns Instagram, and then there's platforms like Snapchat, and Twitter is an interesting one. I'm kind of biased because I don't really like Twitter. Twitter can be used as a customer service tool, but there is a stat out there that you need to tweet 6 to 46 times a day to get your message across. So that's, you know, big companies in California have a person dedicated to tweeting, answering, and responding to those conversations. So that's just kind of my take on it.
Do you have any suggestions on how to increase your likes on a Facebook page? So like for me, I manage the health department's Facebook page, and our biggest problem is that we have such a small reach, and we're not sure how to go about it, especially because for county policy you can't have comments enabled, so we can't even like interact really.
Yeah, so there's a few ways I can think of. You know, I go back, one is paying for your advertising. It's kind of a common thing that comes up these days, but you can actually pay Facebook to have your Facebook page boosted out for a like campaign. So you're essentially, your main call to action is like your page. The thing with that, you know, you can do that, but if you don't have the right audience, the audience may be limited. You gotta have some kind of creativity or kind of witty, like, why like our page? You gotta give them a reason to like your page. So with that, you can do that boosted campaign, but then are you posting regularly or consistently to make those people, you know, wanna like your page?
That's what I was gonna follow up with, is quality over the quantity.
Yeah. Perfect.
You'd rather have engaged, like 350 engaged people on a Facebook page is way better than 3,000 disengaged ones, in my opinion.
Definitely.
I think it's just really hard because like there's a lot of important information. I mean, if there's like an outbreak of some foodborne illness or some sort of something, you know, we really need the public to be aware about it, and whether or not they're engaging with it, as long as they see it, at least like to us, it's like about public safety more more than, you know, making sure that we have that like super engaged, you know.
And kind of a cool way you could do too, if there's kind of specific partnerships or people you work with on a regular basis, tagging their company on social media. That way they get the notification if it's worth sharing or something really important, they have the option to do so as well.
I think what's worked for Shoreline too, I know you said you couldn't have comments enabled, but we do like the like, share, comment contests where we give away gift certificates. That works really well, so I don't know if you could tailor it to just be a like and share contest, like this post, share it out to your friends, that's gonna get your reach up a lot, and it'll get your page likes up. Yes.
How many people do you have liking your page at Shoreline right now?
1761.
And how many people do you get to like those, giving you a free gift certificate?
90 to 100, and shares are usually up above that, yeah. People like the giveaways.
Yeah, people like free things.
And I mean, so we do that maybe once a quarter, so we're giving away $50 once a quarter or whatever, and we're getting, our return is pretty high. If we're getting like 70 page, like 60 or 70.
Do you always give away the same gift?
No, we'll do gift certificates sometimes, we'll do tickets to the Automobile Gallery in Green Bay or to the Maritime Museum, and then we can relate it that way. Like when Subfest is coming around, we'll do Maritime Museum tickets, or we sponsor Cars and Guitars in Green Bay, and then we can do the automobile tickets as well, kind of tie it all together.
We do the baskets, but we have some that are, very over, you know, we don't, I think maybe 400 people, like our page or something. And, we're lucky to get, if we get 40, but then the next one we'll get 5. And then we'll do it again and we'll get 22, and then the next time we'll get 7.
Yeah.
Next time we'll get 48, and then we'll get 42. It's so hit or miss, so we're like, are we giving away the wrong gifts? Like, and that's kind of where we're at now, like we were just talking about it this morning, like we're gonna do another gift giveaway, but how do you get them?
Yeah, and I think the gift certificates go over a little bit better than the
Okay.
tickets, but the tickets were still pretty decent.
And with that too, if I can make a point, with Facebook and certain social media platforms, a few months ago, maybe a little more than that, Facebook kind of changed their privacy settings. So if you notice, not everyone who shares it, you'll be able to see that because their privacy settings change differently. That's always something to be aware of. And I've worked with kind of campaigns, if you don't have the correct wording, Facebook can actually shut down your page. So it's something to be aware of. There's tons of information on Google for that. Any other questions?
Kind of going back to what you guys were talking about, like I work for IQ, we're a staffing service, and we have like an IQ Facebook page, and then we have 7 branches. Then we have like an IQ Manitowoc, IQ Green Bay, IQ, you know, all the different locations. And we have someone that does post every day on the IQ page, and then we have someone that posts from each branch every day on their page. Is that too much? You know, and then they wonder why people don't go to our website. Well, we have, like we were talking about, like simplifying it, like are we doing too much? Are we?
You're posting daily on each page.
Yeah.
You're saying? I would say so. You know, it depends on the content, what you're actually sharing. You know, if it's people don't want to read that kind of thing, you won't get that high engagement. But if it's important information that needs to be out there, then it should be out there. Maybe just watch when you're posting, kind of. That's what I always come back to for organic reach.
And a suggestion, maybe take the post on the main page and then have other locations share that.
Same one.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the final goal too, if you wanna push people back to the main page, or if you want them to like the individual ones.
That's why I like the wheel thing that you talked about. Like, do we want to go to our website or want to go on Facebook? People like, where do we want to go? They're just like spinning in my world.
Yeah.
Like they don't know where to go.
Yeah. You can make it easy for your end user or customer, you'll get way better results.
Yeah.
That's the thing. People are lazy and they want to make 2 clicks instead of 5 clicks. That's what it comes down to. So, how many of you, do you guys blog or vlog? Do any of you do for your informants? Yeah. Yeah. I always like to bring up the blog, kind of that first success story. A lot of people are like, I don't know what to blog about. What do I share about our company? But there's so much you can share, especially if you're hiring. You want people to know what's going on in your company, whether that's sharing company success, culture, events going on. I have kind of a list. Industry trends That's always huge. And when you create a blog on your website, that's content you're creating for your social media outlets, your newsletter, whatever it may be, press releases, and then I lost my train of thought. With that content too, that helps with SEO on your website, which is a huge topic. People essentially, you know, I go Charmaine, hospice care in Wisconsin, or hospice care in Manitowoc County, Sheboygan County. So those keywords are crucial because people use those search engines more than anything. So SEO, search engine optimization, is something I always come back to. And there's tons of ways you can do that for free on your website. A kind of an important one we use in our companies and when we build website is the plugin Yoast for WordPress websites. It kind of pre-populates those keywords and helps you along the way. So that's something I recommend always too, is that Yoast plugin. And it does take work to add all those keywords and whatnot. Yeah, so.
Any other questions as we get towards the end? Is there something we didn't cover that you were hoping or expecting that we would talk about today, or anything that you guys want to bring up or share? I mean, that's why we're here. We wanted to do this for you guys, not to sit up here and toot our own horns about what we do. That's why we didn't share anything, because we wanted it to be about what are you guys dealing with.
Of those 17,000 likes you have, are you getting any feedback of how many people are seeing your post?
Yeah, it varies too. We'll see a variance depending on if we're posting in the morning, like she had said the times. Usually it's it can be anywhere around 600 to 1,000 are seeing the post, and that's because that new algorithm that Facebook has, they make it hard for your entire following to see it unless you're paying for it. But it all depends on what kind of likes you're getting or shares. Like every post that we post, I share to my personal page, and I like it, and that pushes that post out to my personal feed, so then all my Facebook friends see it as well. So it's important to be sharing it to as many places as you can and getting others to do it, and that will just increase the reach.
And with that, the more likes, comments, shares, essentially engagement you get on your social media posts for most platforms, the longer it'll be in the newsfeed. So engagement is huge.
Do you have any idea what people don't like? We have 10,000 likes, and every time somebody unlikes our page, I take it really personally.
Don't take it personally.
What are some things that people, and other than like fuzzy photos, wordy posts, what will make people go to your page and unlike it? That seems like, for lazy people, that's a lot of clicks. What did I do, and how do I find them?
Who wants to take this one?
I think like in anything, like in any business, you're gonna have attrition, so you're just gonna have some people that, I've never unliked a page, cause I'm like, why go through all the effort? I'll just ignore the content if I'm not a big fan. Or I've just become disinterested in it, and so it doesn't pop up like it used to. But for somebody to go through and do an unlike, I don't know if that's, especially with you guys with 10,000 followers, if you get one here and there, you're gonna have that. I mean,
It's hard not to take it very
oh,
I think too, if they had a very, I'm not sure what kind of industry you're in,
We're
but
the Maritime Museum.
okay.
Everybody like our page. We're losing likes. Something's going on.
I think if someone had a really bad experience, they might, or the annoying factor. That's what I come back to. What don't take it personally.
Yeah, I'd say maybe frequency too. If they don't like seeing it in their newsfeed, if they've seen it maybe every day or something, they might unlike it.
Good to deactivated accounts too.
That
I
too.
like that. I'm gonna go with.
Yeah.
Go with that.
Deactivated
They died. It's true. He died. It's true.
yeah.
One reason I unliked the page was because I was supporting an organization which I considered sort of a neutral political thing. I wasn't supporting it for any political reasons. And then all of a sudden they started posting political statements. And it turned me off. And even though I really liked the organization, I didn't like what they were, they all of a sudden took a political twist on it.
Yeah.
There's a cautionary tale right there, at least as a business.
Post political.
Yeah, just talk about what you do and those kind of things.
I was just gonna say, I'm like the queen of unliking pages. I do it all the time.
There you go.
I'm like the queen of unliking pages. I do it all the time.
There's your
Did
like
you
that
unlike ours?
went away.
No, I didn't. But the main reason that I do it is just because, like, I don't like when, this is my own personal thing, I don't like when people post too often in the same day, and it like, I don't remember your name, said it's annoying. So that's, for me, frequency of a page is like one of the most important things to me, because, I mean, I'm young and I'm on Facebook all the time, so I don't like to see it, you know, all the time.
I was gonna say, a bunch of us as staff unliked our page because clients can see us and clients can find us. So, and even I think some of our board members have unliked us too, because clients can find them. So sometimes it could be a confidentiality issue why your likes can go down. I know clients they find us whether we're like it or not, but I know I had a lot of clients finding us and had to do a lot of blocking, and finally I just pulled back from our page because I don't want them seeing my personal life.
I would also add, you talk about consistency, but probably redundancy could be you know, if you're saying the same thing over and over, to use your example of, you know, closing with happy customers, Van Horn Auto Group, you know, we're selling a lot of cars every day, and when I came on board, my first reaction was, you know, one feed was just like constantly every day posing with somebody who we sold a car to, and I think from an outsider, my viewpoint was, well, good for you guys, you sold another car. Like, there's gotta be some kind of benefit to the customer. So we started kind of isolating it more into if that particular transaction had a story behind it. If it was somebody who, you know, bought their car for their son coming back from Afghanistan, or, you know, like that is a little bit more worthy than like every single transaction that you do, because I think that gets pretty redundant.
And another way we avoid being redundant is for one campaign, we might have 5 or 6 different images or like creative pieces. That way, if you didn't like the first one, maybe you'll like the one that I post a couple weeks later, but it's got the same idea. And then with the testimonials on that line, we do Feel Good Friday. So that way it's not every day, but it's only on Fridays, and it helps people, it cheers people up. It's Friday, it's gonna be the weekend, and we usually get pretty good feedback on that as well.
And to your point, social media is there not to sell things all the time, but to tell your story. That's why it's there. And, you know, if you can tell those stories, that's when you'll see a boost in your engagement, because it's an actual real life story, and people love that, whether that's through, you know, content-wise, video, whatever it may be. People will see that and they'll engage with it. So. Cool.
Yes.
One more question.
Sorry.
Or you can talk to us after, whatever works.
I'm sorry. When you do the post about the like and share and giveaway, are you doing that as just a standard post, or are you actually doing that as an ad so that more people are getting it?
I'm doing it as a standard post when we do it, and we get pretty good feedback that way. I guess the way I look at it is I didn't want to spend money to give away money. So we wanted to see, we just did the first one on a whim and said, well, let's see if this works. And we got really good feedback and really good engagement without boosting it. And that was just with the shares and the comments and the likes. And then every comment that was left on there, I would respond to it from the Shoreline page, and that kept it in the news feed also, so it was there a long time.
Does that help? Sorry, I know you said only one.
Yeah, go.
Does it help with your reach then when you do that?
Yeah.
Because you're trying to get more organic activity, which will then help.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long did you let that go on for?
The first one I think I did 2 weeks, and I would reshare it in the page, but it all depends on what kind of reach you're getting. Like, I think we had like, it was like a 4,000 reach on one, which was good, but you could watch it go up.
There's currently one going on you can sign up for, too.
Yeah, if you guys want some free gift certificates, go to the Shoreline page.
Wait, end it.
Well, I think our time is up, but thank you so much for staying and talking with us. If you have any questions,
Steve has supported
I figured it out, so I just wanted to.
Pictures, Lexi. Yeah, I'm sure,
Maybe getting them like this. I mean, we're local too, it's kind of like, whether it's not just somewhere.
Good job, Tyler. Thank you. Good man.
My name is Michael.
So some people would use it to go from the mic. And then another one is via step camera.
Okay. Alrighty.
Still and video too.
Hey, how are you? Been a while.
Did you get everything you wanted out of that?
Oh, yeah,
I saw you taking notes.
Yeah. Mental notes.
Already?
Prove to Kim.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was good. You guys were great. You see our
I was gonna say, did you want to just have a conversation?
No, that's why I didn't want to. Yeah, I stay with her. So yeah, that works.
Okay, awesome stuff. Thank you.
Yeah, maybe it was more what time you're doing it.
Primary day.
Well,
Tyler, are you
Yes.
gonna be there next Tuesday?
Yeah.
I'll throw my bag at you.
Right.
so
So you obviously have the
interesting that.
passion.
Yeah, no, absolutely. He's great.
What is that?
I think we need,
Next Tuesday.
Next Thursday?
Tuesday.
That's okay. Yeah, I'll be there.
It's fun. The last one, your sleeve got it.
Eric getting.
Yeah, thank you, I appreciate that.
I think we need to do something. I have my phone. I don't play it all the time.
Did you go to the GAC last week?
Yeah, we had fun. We saw some of you guys there. Don and Tammy, yeah, we down there. Yeah. They were in Tittle with us. Yeah, they were here with Tittle.
You do it on the computer or do it
Thank you.
What's yours next? Post. Yours next post.
Don't compare me. I know you guys have tried the panel thing before.
Okay, I just gotta pick up these sheets. Oh.
You record it on audio.
Yeah, like Facebook's another search engine. YouTube is, so it's like, nobody's
Better, thank you.
I made one once.
Like, we can take pictures.
We had some good questions.
Yeah, I started getting That's the thing with social media. Wrong way to do it. So just ways to put it better ways to do it. Marketing.
I'm sorry. I was like,
What your business is.
Yeah, some of them had some really unique challenges that we don't have to worry about. There's other ones.
Social services. Yeah, we did the morning, yeah. I see they changed the name and everything this year. Are you guys the designers?
but it could go in the
It's either you guys or,
I was like, see?
I know, I saw
they're sponsors as well. You guys did some really nice artwork, whoever did this year. Yeah. Thanks, Gary. Because I know we did it last year, I helped them last year with Gary.
I believe so.
Yeah, tell them to change their Facebook page to Bushy Jokes, 'cause it's still Ice on 8th on their Facebook page.
Why did they change the name of it? Yep, I'll be there. That was no idea.
Because they got the Facebook page is Ice on 8th, but the name is Elks Winter Festival. They gotta make a collab. The Facebook page is different. And there's no Facebook page.
Talk to you.
Yeah, just.
Yeah, they're gonna change the name.